Welcome to EPG Pathshala lecture series on data analytics. In this session on data analytics, we will be discussing about graphics and data visualization using a tool R. As part of this session, we will be first understanding what are the support available in the R tool for graphics and visualization, followed by learn various R commands for graphics and visualization of a given data. Let us first understand what is R. R is an open source software which is developed by Ross and Robert in University of Auckland, and in very recently you can find R has been used very famously for the purpose of data analysis, especially statistical analysis and visualization of data. The current version of R is a collaborative contribution made from different members across the globe. This particular R is highly extensible and it is also flexible with respect to various other data analysis platform. Implementation of various statistical methods are part of this R tool and it has excellent graphics capabilities. Now, with respect to graphics in R, let us see what are the supports provided in R for the purpose of graphics. R is considered to be a powerful environment for data visualization because it has integrated graphics, and whatever we generate it can be reproduced, and moreover there are huge number of packages for graphics and that is available as open source, and any kind of specialized or complex plot can be done using such packages. R and the graphs that are generated by R can be viewed on screen. It can be saved in various formats like PDF, PNG, JPEG, etc., etc. These are all the various supports from R for the purpose of graphics. The graphical environment in R can be broadly classified into two: low level graphics and high level graphics. The low level graphics in R supports the base graphics and grid graphics. The high level graphics supports lattice graphics and then Gplot. The base graphics and grid graphics are aimed towards visualizing the fundamental ways by which we can visualize data and results of any analysis. Lattice and Gplots are advanced level of visualization associated with the same data analysis. Let us go step by step. We will understand first the base graphics and support for base graphics in R. We will understand what are the various functions that are used for plotting. Whenever we are trying to plot anything, it is going to be in the form of a graph or a chart or say some kind of graphics. So, the basic functions available in R for the purpose of doing such plots are plot, which is used for plotting say xy parameters on a two dimensional, that is Cartesian coordinate environment. We have a function named bar plot for plotting bar plots that highlights distribution of data. We also have a box plot for plotting box and whisker plot, providing the outliers, also the correct range of values associated to a given data. Suppose we want to display the frequency of various elements available in a given data, then we may go for histogram. Histograms can be plotted using the function called hist function. We can plot pie charts using the pie function, dot plots using dot chart function. We also have other functions like image, heat map, contour and perspective functions for the purpose of generating image like plots. So, heat maps sometimes may be useful for understanding say the distribution of a given data in a specific coordinate environment. Suppose you are trying to work with respect to fuzzy variables and visualization of fuzzy variables, heat maps or contours may be very effective for the purpose of visualizing fuzzy variables. We have plots and functions for distribution and comparison of various plots like qnorm, qline and then the qplot functions, and finally we have support for display of multivariate data using pairs pair function and then coplot function. These are the fundamental plot functions that are available in R for the purpose of displaying univariate as well as bivariate variable and data relation with respect to these variables. Now, how are we going to provide input to the R tool? The input to the R tool is going to be in the form of matrix or data frames. It can be vector or it can be even named vector. Now, let us start one by one. We will understand how these functions work. We will start with the basic plot. The basic plot is going to provide a scatter plot. First, when we want to randomly generate say a scatter plot, we need the seed function which is used for generating random numbers, and then you will have to call the plot function. So, the plot function highlighted here, which is a standard command, plotting command in R. This standard plotting command in R takes two arguments, the x axis variable and the y axis variable, and then randomly it generates numbers, and then these numbers are going to be displayed in a scatter plot. How many number of random numbers will be generated? If it is going to be a scatter plot, the input to this scatter plot can be provided in the form of a matrix. Therefore, we make use of a method called matrix, and here the runif function with an argument 30 indicates 30 unique random numbers are going to be generated. So, once you type the seed function followed by the matrix function, and then when you call the plot function, you are going to get say a random scatter plot as appears in this slide. So, you will find the y1 variable along the x axis, the y2 variable along the y axis, and then the range of variable is going to be 1 to 0, because random function is going to generate variables in the range of 0 to 1, and there are 30 values, unique values going to be generated, and it is displayed inside this scatter plot. Suppose you have various combinations of variables and you want to display all these combinations, then you can make use of a special method called pairs method. The pairs method, when supplied with say the corresponding variable with which you are going to plot the various combinations of scatter plot, then you can call the pairs method with the argument y. Assume y is the variable with which you are going to plot it. So, once you call this method, you will find combinations of variables. So, here there are 3 variables, and combination of these 3 variables, which is represented as a 3 by 3 matrix, is highlighted here. Similar to y in the previous statement, we have randomly generating few numbers for y, saving that into a matrix, and whenever you call the pairs function for the y, the same random numbers that are generated will be used for plotting this pairwise variables. So, instead of visualizing a pair of variable, instead we can go for multiple combination of such pairs of variables and then visualize in one single screen. That is the main use of pairs function. Now, suppose if you want to generate labels in the scatter plot, then how to add labels? Labels are normally text values. So, what is that you need to do is you need to call the plot function followed by the text function. This text function will generate various text labels and then attach those labels to the random points which are generated. So, if you execute these two commands, then you may end up with a scatter plot like this. Now, if you take a look at this scatter plot, a close look at this scatter plot, you can find various values, that is various coordinates, and the coordinates are appended with say a notation, a label, a text label like A, B, C, J, H, G, and the other notations like E, etc. So, what does it mean? Given a scatter plot, if you want to assign a text label to this scatter plot, the coordinates in the scatter plot, you can make use of the function called text function and then draw the same scatter plot with labels. We can also understand what are the other important plotting parameters. An important plotting parameter like MAR, which is an important argument for plotting, What does this MAR indicates? The MAR is actually the margin size. So, when you pass this MAR, the margin argument, it actually sets the sides of the plotting region. So, here in this scenario, the bottom, the left, the top and right is assigned with say values 8, 8, 8 and 8 respectively, clearly indicating the plotting area with size 8 by 8. Secondly, we make use of another plotting parameter called COL, which is going to mention or provide the color of the symbols. So, the color of the symbols can be indicated using a text label, like for example, as given here, red within double quotes, or equivalent integers can also be assigned for color values. Then we have PCH, which indicates the type of the symbol and the example points. We have LWD parameter, which indicates the size of the symbols, and then the CEX parameter that sets the font size. These are all various other plotting parameters with which you can make the plot look more beautiful. Suppose you have a scatter plot and then you want to draw or add a regression line to the given scatter plot. It can be made possible by means of making use of the regression model. For fitting a regression model, we have a support in R tool and the function is called LM, linear regression model, LM. If the LM method is called, a linear model is fit, and then with the help of this linear model, a straight line that fits the given data points can be drawn using AB line method. And finally, if you want to get a summary of this linear regression model, you can call the function called summary. So, the summary will generate any summary statistics about the given regression model and the straight line which has been fit. For example, if you run these commands like the LM command, AB line command and summary command, first a chart will be displayed, and in that chart how the linear model will be fit is, that is decided based on the LM method. So, the LM method is, as mentioned earlier, is used for fitting the linear model. It is basically used for carrying out regression analysis, and this regression is carried out on a single variable or even a group of variables, thereby it becomes analysis of covariance. The AB line method, as mentioned earlier, is used for adding one or more straight lines that may be part of the current plot, and finally the summary is going to generate the summary statistics of the resulting plot, which has been generated based on the LM method, that is the linear model which is adapted as part of the LM method. So, the output of this lines of code will look like this. Here you can find the scatter plot and a line that is drawn. This line is drawn using the AB line method. The linear regression model for this particular plot is defined based on the LM method, and finally when you call the summary method, these are the various summary statistics that is displayed. So, the summary includes what is the minimum, what is the median, what is the maximum range of values, and the first quartile and then the third quartile values. So, the minimum and maximum here indicates the complete minimum and maximum. The first and third quartile indicates the correct set of values, and the median, the whisker that is actually part of the box is the median. Apart from this, various errors and the estimated value of these errors are also displayed here. F statistics and then the p value are also going to be displayed when you call the summary method. So, this summary method generates you various statistical details about the linear model that is generated, and it may be used for further analysis. Suppose you want to plot not a normal straight line, instead you want to plot on a log scale, then you have a provision for that in R, that is as part of the plot method you will have to call the log. So, now the same set of random variables plotted with respect to the log scale. Suppose you want to add an expression in the given plot, then you can define the expression by means of calling the expression method as an argument to the plot function. So, here the expression method clearly indicates what is the expression that you are going to generate. So, sum indicates the summation series and fraction indicates say a numerator and denominator information, and the square root of indicates the denominator and square root of the denominator. The CEX parameter argument as stated previously indicates the size of the font. Suppose if you execute this particular command in R, the plot that is generated looks like this, and here you can find the expression. So, the expression as defined here uses a summation symbol, and this is a fraction. The numerator and denominator of the fraction are mentioned as part of the fraction function. So, numerator is 1, denominator is square root of x square multiplied by pi. So, this equation can be embedded as part of any plot. So, now with such kind of expressions embedded as part of a plot, it may provide more meaning to the given plot. In case if it is going to be a series, then you can clearly indicate the equation related or the expression related to the series, and accordingly final visualization of the data and understanding of the data can happen very easily. Suppose you want to provide a specific color to the line plot, then you can call the color method the color argument as part of the plot method. This we have already discussed. I told the color value is going to be a text label, or sometimes it is even going to be an integer value. So, if I want to plot a line and I want the line color to be say blue, then I will have to pass the value to the argument called color as blue, and if you pass this argument to the plot function, and when this plot function is executed, you will get a plot where the line that is plotted is built using the blue color. Line plots with multiple variables. Till now we discussed about a single line which has been plotted. Suppose if I want to plot more than one line, then how this is achievable is, you will have to execute the plot function followed by a for loop, and in the for loop you can indicate how many number of straight lines you want based on the I index value. So, here I is set from 1 to say 3 or 1 to 2, indicating how many number of lines you want, and accordingly the color value for each and every line is also set. So, based on the color value is, as I already mentioned, it can be a text label or it can be an integer. Here the integer value is based on the index value I. So, for each and every iteration the color value will be set to a new color value, and accordingly a new plot as shown in this figure or chart will be generated or rendered by R tool. So, here you can find multiple plots in the same diagram or in the same chart. Now, this kind of chart is very much essential when we are trying to analyze more than 2 variables for the purpose of data analysis or visualization. Sometimes in case of time series analysis, there may be more than one variable which need to be tracked over a period of time. So, there also you can make use of this line plot with multiple variables. Apart from these basic plot functions, we have other graph types that are associated with specific functions like the bar plot type, then the histogram type, density plot, pie chart. For all these you have specific functions. For plotting bar plot you require bar plot function, for plotting a histogram you require the hist function, and for density plot you require density, and you make use of the pie function for generating or rendering a pie chart. Let us take a look at these functions in detail. Here we have generated a bar plot. The bar plot has say 4 separated components. These 4 separated components are indicated here. So, as part of the bar plot, the second argument will indicate clearly how many number of components are going to be there for each and every bar, and for all these bars you can associate a legend. So, how many number of legends are going to be there? Since there are going to be 4 components for each and every bar, we have 4 legends indicated by A, B and C, and the legends and the corresponding bar shade is displayed in this top right corner. And how do you get this legend and the corresponding shade is using the legend argument passed to the bar plot. So, here maximum there are going to be 4 quadrants and 4 legends or text labels associated to this 4 plots. So, if you call the bar plot now, a bar plot like this will be generated using the following legends. Next, if you want to generate a histogram, you can make use of the hist function. The hist function requires the various partitions or the ranges along the x axis. Now, here along the x axis, suppose if we want to have 10 partitions, then that must be indicated using the argument called breaks. So, if break is set to 10 indicates there are going to be 10 bins or 10 partitions, and then if you will have to set the frequency to true. So, here along the y axis the variable that will be set if you are setting the frequency value to true will be the frequency count, and now when you execute the hist function, the histogram on the single variable y will be generated based on the frequency of the given variable value y. Suppose if you want to display a density plot, the density plot can be plotted using the function called density function, which must be passed as an argument to the plot function. The density plot in turn requires a color value. So, if the color value is set to the label red, then if you execute the plot function with the density function and the color value set to red, you will get a density curve as shown in this diagram. So, this is also for a single variable called y. Similarly, you can generate for multiple variables by calling a for method or a for loop, and there you can make use of an index and set different colors for different lines. We can also generate a pie chart using the method called pie method. The pie chart is generated for a variable. So, the first argument that is going to be passed for the pie function is the variable for which you are going to draw the pie chart. So, here it is the y variable, y1 variable. Then how many columns are going to be there? What are the colors associated to this columns? The color is set using the rainbow method. The rainbow method makes use of the WebGR color combinations, and in what direction these arcs are defined. These arcs are defined using clockwise parameter set to true, which means the colors, the assignment of the colors and the arcs are going to be defined in a clockwise way. Now, for each and every sector in this pie chart, I can assign a label by means of using the legend argument passed to the pie method. So, I can define a separate legend method providing where it need to be displayed. So, when I mention the position as top right, the legend associated to various sectors in this pie chart will be displayed on the top right corner, and then the font size is defined by means of the CEX parameter. Suppose if I have multiple scatter plots or multiple plots and I want to visualize all these plots together, means then I can make use of a function with which I can arrange multiple plots on a single page. The function or the method name is PAR. This particular method called PAR method must be supplied with the number of rows and the number of columns for arrangement of the plots. See, here in this example we are arranging the plots, there are totally 6 plots, we are arranging the plots in a grid of size 2 by 3. So, this size must be passed as an argument to the par function. So, the first argument which is passed for the par function is the number of rows and number of columns, and we will have to specify in a for loop, and inside the for loop we will have to indicate the plot function, that is we will have to call the plot function. How many plots we are going to do is 6 plots, therefore, the for loop will be triggered 6 number of times by setting the index as 1 to 6, and for each and every iteration a plot function is going to be called, and this plot function is going to have values ranging from 1 to 10, and when you take a look at this diagram, you can find all these plots are having a value ranging from 1 to 10 along the x as well as the y axis. So, now when you execute this particular function, all the 6 plots having values ranging from 1 to 10 will be generated and then arranged as per the given layout. Suppose you want to arrange the same number of plots by means of another method apart from the par method. We also have a method called layout function. This layout function actually divides the plotting device into variable number of rows and columns, and accordingly it will set the particular plot by adjusting to the row height and width. So, auto adjust of the plots with respect to the given region will be done using the layout function. So, here you make use of a layout method, and for this layout method you will have to tell how many number of columns or plots you are going to generate. The NF over here is a variable which is assigned to this layout method. So, this layout method will pass a value indicating how many number of bar plots are going to be there, and then when you execute this code, say a bar plot like this will be generated, and here you can find all the bars are not connected with each other, that is they are not touching each other, instead they are separated by means of a small distance. So, this will help you in clearly understanding the frequency or say distribution of various variables values without touching each other. So, this provides a clear visualization when compared with the regular histogram method. Suppose you have generated various graphs or plots and then you want to save these graphs or plots, then how you can achieve this is you can make use of methods like PDF method or say SVG method, which will help you in saving the respective outputs, the graphics outputs either in a PDF format or in say an image format, a vector graphics format. SVG is scalable vector graphics format. So, for this how you should type and execute the command is, first you should tell in what particular file you want to save the output. So, if you want to save it in the form of PDF, then call the method called PDF method, and the argument to the PDF method is going to be the file name. So, here in this scenario we have a file named test.pdf. In case if test.pdf file is not there, this test.pdf file will be created for the purpose of saving the output, and then when you call the plot function, then the output of this plot function will be saved into the test.pdf file. Similarly, if you want to generate a scalable vector graphics file for the same plot, then instead of PDF method you can make use of the SVG method, highlighting the file in which you want to save the scalable vector graphics output. So, call the SVG method followed by the plot, then the plot that is generated will be saved in this test.svg file and in the respective format. So, this is how R provides support for saving the graphics file that is being generated. Now, when we talk about the graphics, there are certain other ways by which you can display the graphics information like the grid graphics. Grid graphics actually is a low level graphics system, but it helps in providing a customized way of plotting the information. So, you need to have this grid graphics pre-installed in the R environment. By default this grid graphics comes part of the R distributions. So, one important type of grid representation is the lattice representation. This is a high level graphic system. It is developed by Deepayan Sarkar and it is actually used for plotting and arranging various complex graphical features. The syntax for lattice is part and part of R based graphics. The function for calling the lattice is, you will have to first invoke the package called lattice package. So, you call the method library passed with the argument called lattice package argument, and then when you plot this, when you call this xy plot function, then what happens is the plot that is done using this xy plot when triggered using the plot method will provide a gridwise or a lattice format of displaying the output. So, here there are 4 variables and you have 4 combinations of these variables and the corresponding scatter plot for these combinations. Now, each and every row contains lattice of cuboids. So, each and every component in a row is called as a cuboid. So, how you can visualize the given graph is the graph can be visualized as a lattice of cuboids, that is why it is called as a lattice function. The same lattice plot can be associated with the density plot by means of calling the density plot function along with the lattice method. In summary, we can say that R is a powerful programming environment for statistical analysis. Apart from powerful statistical analysis support, it also provides excellent graphics and various capabilities for displaying the given data in a visualized format, and it is which is very essential for decision making in data analysis environment. Thank you.